we end our time in this online learning situation. So hopefully you have your pencil and paper. And for this first question, the question is, what fraction of the figure is shaded red? And what percent of the figure is white? So go ahead and start working on that. Let's see who's here. Oh, I know what I was looking for, my notebook. Let's do my attendance on this Post-it. All right. We've got Kaden and Rock. Xavier. Xavier, are you actually here? I haven't heard your voice yet.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, good. Luke. Good morning, Luke.
Good morning.
Joe Kellers, good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Zambor, I've heard your voice. Robbie. Owen. Okay. No Poe this morning, huh? Where's Poe? Where's Amir? Jamarian will get here about 9:45. All right. Henry, where's Henry? Henry's always here. Oh, Henry, where are you, man? I should check my email.
Henry died.
Don't say things like that. Let me see if we've got any emails from anybody. No, nothing from Henry. Oh, so sad. Last class. Matthew, thought maybe we'd get Matthew on this last one. Oh, who we got? Who walked in? Jamar. There we go. I knew he'd show up. Morning, Jamarian. Jamarian, are you actually here? All right, once you have an answer to either of these questions, please put it in the chat. All right, Jamarian is here. Oh, let me get this. I still haven't figured out how to easily access my pen on this thing. Nope, even after 13 times. Nope, still can't do it. Why? Oh, whatever. You guys do the problem. Once you have an answer, please put it in the chat. You are answering two questions here. What fraction is shaded red and what percent is white? So I want you to think about two things, a fraction answer and a percent answer. We are going to dig deep back to our unit from November. I think we did this. I know, we're getting wild. Wild on the last day. Buckle your seatbelts. Ooh, Amir's here. All right, Amir. Luke has got 4/5 is his answer. Luke, is that your answer? Oh, that would be number one. Amir, welcome. I'm really glad you made it to the last class. Let's see if I can get it. Nope. Come on. Why?
Have any of you guys' papers for McCafferty been graded yet?
Rock says 1/5 red and white.
No, my paper hasn't been graded yet. Everything else has, though. Like the draft and everything. Not the final copy, though.
Hey, talk about McCafferty later. Do your...
Yeah, it's very important, Miss Amick.
What? Yeah, I know, but not as important as my class right now. All right. So what was one of the strategies we used whenever we were doing these types of problems back in the good old days of our fraction unit?
We connected all the boxes to make it like a grid.
Yeah, connected the boxes to make a grid. So hopefully at home on your paper, you've done something like that and maybe looked at it, or maybe you were visualizing that grid. All right. So if I was making my grid, my equal boxes, So now maybe this will help for those of you who are having a hard time visualizing the grid.
There's 25 squares.
Okay, so Joe says there's 25 squares. Thank you, Joe. How did you know so quickly?
Because when you divide, like cut in the squares, you got 5 in each row, and there's 5 rows. 5 times 5 is 25.
5 times 5 is 25 total. So if I'm answering question 1, what should I be looking to do here? I'm going to switch to black. What should I be looking to do to figure out this answer for number 1?
I don't know.
Okay, not sure. So Luke, you said 4/5. How did you come up with 4/5? $20 out of 25. All right, so let's check it out. If we've got 20 red boxes, then Luke is right. So I'm actually going to count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 at the top, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 at the bottom.
Oh,
Knock out those full rows, right? Here's box 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Nice job, Luke. Luke has got 20. There are 20 red out of 25 total, which reduce what goes into 20 and into 25?
5.
5. So we'll reduce this to 4/5. Beautiful. All right, so if we are thinking about 4/5 before we move on to number 2, what's 4/5 as a percent?
80. Oh, wait. No.
Yeah, 80%.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay.
All right, benchmark fractions. Good work. So 80% is red. So someone other than Joe, Sombor, what percent is white if 80% is red?
Oh, 20.
Joe, I said no Joe answer. I can hear you whispering. All right. Sombor, how'd you get 20?
Well, 80. If 100%, and then 80 years minus 80% from 100%, you get 20%.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Nice job. That's one way you could do it. Since you knew your answer from 1, you could use your answer for 2, or you could have done count the boxes 3, 4, 5, and you could have said 5 out of 25, reduced it to 1/5, and hopefully from back in our benchmark fraction and decimals, you remember that 1/5 is 20%. All right, that was our first classic POD. What other type of POD do you think I'm going to have here this morning on our last day of class? What couldn't we leave without one more of?
Pattern.
Who was that, Kaden?
Yeah.
Thanks, Kaden. All right. So I have another pattern for us. Can't leave this school year without one more good pattern. And so, oh, Noah, where's Noah? Oh,
We should do a community meeting.
He's what?
We should do a community meeting.
Maybe we could do one at the end, Kaden. You're right. That would have been kind of fun. How many footballs? This is Noah's problem. He always comes up with these formulas. I miss that he's not here today. All right. How many footballs are in the 10th term? Is this pattern linear, quadratic, or exponential? And what is the equation that represents the total number of footballs for any term number? So I want you to think about that 10th term. So give it a try. I'm going to mute you guys so no one just yells out the answer without giving everyone a shot. Let's see. Ooh, Amir. Amir's got 55 in the chat. All right. So there's a couple ways to do this. And I'm gonna take answers. Amir says 55. Does anybody else have does anybody else want to agree with Amir or have a
I got 55, Miss Samick.
Joe is also on team 55.
Or 54, my bad.
54. Joe's got
Yeah.
I also got 54.
55, 54. Anything
Something
else
like
out
that.
there? Raquel, Zombor, Xavier, Luke. Oh, where's Jack? Jack hasn't been here this week. Come on, Jack. Who else? Jamarion, do you have an answer? And Fofana? No Fofana on the last day.
No,
Bummer.
Matt.
No, Matt. All right.
I just came back from the bathroom. What happened?
Oh, we're doing the football problem. How many footballs in the 10th term?
Okay.
All right. So, Joe or Kaden or Amir, you can type in the chat. How did you guys come up with your answers? What did you do? Robbie, you got an idea for us?
Yeah, I did. I got 55 as my 10th term. And so, should I just explain how I got it?
Yeah.
54.
So, what I did is I noticed like the first pattern was going by like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah,
7,
that's
8,
what I
9,
noticed.
10. And then the second difference was like just +1 each time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh. Which
So you
is
keep adding, like Travis said.
So, Robbie, if I make a table of that, first had 1 football, second had how many footballs?
3.
3,
Third had,
6,
okay, Robbie, keep going. Fourth,
10,
fifth,
15,
15, sixth,
21,
21,
21, that's what I did wrong.
seventh,
28,
eighth,
36,
ninth,
45,
and 10th.
55.
55. That's, yeah, I was a number off.
55 was our winner. So, yeah, and Robbie already mentioned this. So +2, +3, +4, +5. Robbie, what was this? You had mentioned this +1 business. What's that called?
Yeah, quadratic.
Oh, quadratic.
Second differences.
Second differences are the same. Last day of class. Second differences are equal. All right, nicely done. I didn't want to miss out on this moment to also remind us of this awesome pattern we learned. That good old Gauss did. We did this way back in the day when we were talking about this pattern. This first one is just 1 football, and this second one is 1 + 2, and the third one is 1 + 2 + 3. So the 10th term would be 1 + 2 + 3 + what? What do I go up to? If I'm doing this and we're at the 10th term. This is actually going to help us with the formula. So 10th term, we do 1 + 2 + 3 + what? When do I stop?
5, 6.
How many rows of footballs would there be? Thanks, Amir. 10.
10, yeah.
8, 9, 10. All right. Does anybody remember what we did with those 10 numbers? What did we do?
Oh yeah, I remember.
We did the first plus the last gave us what in this?
11.
11. And 2 plus 9 gives us.
Oh yeah.
How many?
There should be
Yeah, go ahead.
there are 5 of them, and then you get 11 plus 5 is 55. Or 11 5 times is 55.
11 times 5 is 55. Yeah. So we can do this with any string of consecutive numbers starting from 1 to whatever number. And because 11 is 1 more than 10, that's n plus 1.
Plus 1 equals that.
And then 5 comes from 10 divided by 2. So this was footballs is equal to n times n plus 1. N plus 1 times n over 2. Which was something we talked more about in class, but just a little reminder. If only Noah was here. I know Noah would have that formula for me. Yep, Amir said 5 times 11. And that's where that comes from. All right, and one last POD before we do a little bit of business, and then I have one last activity for you, and then that is it for the fundamentals of algebra, which is hard to believe. But I want to make sure we are all on board with our positives and our negatives before I send you to Algebra 1. So there are 6 problems. A is equal to 2, B is equal to -3, and C is equal to -5. Please do yours on your paper at home. Soundboard, do you have paper at home? Owen, are you doing these problems with me? Kaden, are you doing the problems?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, well then type some answers. All right, here we go.
Can I do A?
Yeah, do it. Put your answer in the chat.
Okay.
All right. Owen is putting -6 for B. Kaden says -1 for A, whereas Joe Keller says -6 for A. Well, Kaden, were you answering letter A? I thought you were answering A. Were you doing A or B, Kaden?
A.
You're doing A, so we have 2 different answers for A. That's fine. We'll take a look. Amir has C. He says is 10. Zambor says C is -25. So let's take a look at that.
Miss Sanic, I meant C is like 25. I just meant like C.
Like C dash is.
Yeah.
C is
I was
-25.
rushing.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Miss Amick, Joe's right.
You think Joe's right with negative?
Yeah, I go -6. Yeah,
Mm.
because I was doing addition.
Okay. All right. Amir says, my bad. We're going to go with the 25 answer. All right. We need a D, an E, and an F. If anyone has different answers for A, B, and C. Oh, goodness. Put them in the chat. Xavier, Luke, Jamarion, Rock. Let's get some answers in there. Owen. What do you got for me? Robbie? Oh, Robbie did the last one. E, Joe, you say is 72. Oh, negative 72.
Yeah, that's my bad. Sorry.
E, we've got a negative 72. Luke has got 10 for F.
I got 10 too.
Joe's got 10 as well. We're just looking for, oh, Rock's got negative 3/2 for D. All right. So you can keep working. F, Joe has 10. All right, Owen's got 10. All right, let's just verify. For letter A, we had a couple people say this was -6, so we've got 2 times -3, which is -6. That is correct. For B, 2 plus -3 plus -5. -6 looks good. For C, this was that tricky one that got us all year, right?
It's negative.
Is this negative or positive? And
It's positive
Zambor, why do you think it's positive?
because two negatives. No, yeah, it's positive because like two of the same signs is positive.
Yeah. So C squared, don't forget, means C times C, which means -5 times -5, which is indeed positive 25. Okay, so that is correct. Now, Joe, or anybody else that thought it was negative, don't be confused by if I just said to you,
I don't know.
simplify, and I said -5 squared like this.
I did it.
Hungry. I don't want McDonald's.
All right, this one is saying square this thing first and then take the opposite. This would be -25. It's that tricky thing about notation, math notation, that can really throw you off.
Maybe 10:30.
All right. For letter D, Rock was the one that gave me -3/2. So let's take a look at Rock's answer here. We've got -5/2 plus 1. Rock, how'd you come up with -3/2?
I have wrote everything over the common denominator, which is 2. So -5 plus 2/2.
Mm-hmm. And then
And
what?
then I subtracted, well, I added -5 plus 2, which is -3/2.
Mm-hmm. Nice work. All right, so don't forget when you add two numbers, one of them's a fraction, you need that common denominator. All right, for letter E, we've got 9 times B plus C, which is -3 plus -5, which does give you -8, which is -72. That looks good. And last one, we had 2 minus -3 minus -5. Owen, you said 10. How did you come up with 10?
I did 2 minus -3 minus -5, and I did that and then got 10
Well, how did you come up with positive 10 with all these minus signs?
because it's all you change the signs to adding.
One more time, Caden, for us. Last class, what did he do to these?
What?
You missed a moment. All right, we're moving on. All
Okay.
right, so
No. Like
Nah,
something.
what I was thinking was Caden was going to say he keep change flipped on these negatives, but that's fine. All right, positive 10 in the end there. For E, you could do the distributive property. Yeah, you could think about it as minus -3 to get +3 if you want, but really it's when you subtract a negative, it's the same as adding a positive. All right, so that is it for our POD today. Does anybody have any questions on the POD before we move on to our business? Okay, well, this is it. Today is Wednesday, May 13th, and as I hope you know by this point in time, on May 15th, everything is pretty much done in terms of new material, new assignments. So if I could make one suggestion to you, it's that everyone try to be done May 15th. Don't say, oh, I know I really have until May 28th. I'll just put this thing off. I'll put off the McCafferty Poetry Project. I'll put off finishing Miss Samick's food budget project, for those of you that have not finished the food budget project.
I have a question.
Hold on.
All right.
Please try to finish. If you don't, if you are missing things from the online learning time, then you do have until May 28th to work with your teacher to figure out what you need to get done. All right? So for those of you who are caught up in my class, I am going to email you this weekend and say, hey, awesome job. You have a 92% in my class. We are done. All right? And for those of you who are missing some major assessments this weekend, you'll get an email from me saying, hey, we are not done. Your grade is not closed. You still owe me this, this, and this. And then your grade will be done. Okay? This is not just for people who are failing. Like I have some of you guys who, have D's or C's, but you're missing your food budget project. All right? So you will be working on that. Joe, what was your question?
So you didn't grade my the extra credit video yet? I was just wondering if
Did you send it to me in an email or was it embedded in your project?
I shared it with you with the food budget project. Maybe that's why you didn't get it.
Oh, Joe Kellers. All right. I will get on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Miss Amick, like how like all the teachers were like supposed to put like in missing for like all the things that you haven't done, just you see like what your grade would be.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Howard like didn't do that.
I know, and not every teacher did. So you just have to sort of roll with it. I know. So some teachers have not put those in, and I hope you know or don't know what you have or have not turned into those teachers.
Yeah, I know. It's just kind of annoying because like I want to see what my grade would be.
I know, but that's the way it is when you've got 125 people teaching,
Yeah.
and it's just the way it is. So you just have to be responsible for your own learning, your own self. Now, next week, I will not have, classes or formal times, but I will be available. Like my job, right, at the school, other than teaching math, is to support students. So if there's anything that you need next week in making sure that you can wrap your materials up, please reach out. I have plenty of spots next week on my calendar to work with people one-on-one or in a small group. And I'd be happy to do that with anybody that needs a little extra support with getting across the finish line. All right. Nobody wants to go to summer school, especially online summer school. So please take things into your own hands and get things done that you have to get done. And I'm happy to help people next week with that. Does anybody have any questions on the end of school, just in general? And I have one more assignment for you, and that's what I'm going to talk about next. Okay.
You have one more assignment?
Yeah, you have one more assignment. We're going to do it right now.
Is it a grade?
It is a completion grade. Yes.
Oh, dang it.
Oh, Kellers. Why you gotta be such a hater? All right. Well, first of all, before I dive into this last assignment, I do want to say thank you for, being good sports in this online learning time. This is a really weird way to like have a last class, right? Like I don't love it at all, being sitting here and not even seeing your faces, because exactly 0 of you even have your cameras on, right? We're all over it. No one wants to put their cameras on anymore. Same in faculty meetings. No one wants to look at each other. It got old, right? So, hi, Jamarian. Thanks. Appreciate that. So, I just really appreciate your patience as I was trying to figure all of this out, right? This is definitely new for me, new for you guys. And I just want you guys to know that next year, when we go into this next school year, and in the years to come, that if you ever need support with your math as you go to algebra next year, I am happy to continue working with you in the Walton Center, online, whatever. Please come visit me in the Walton Center. You guys are going to do great in Algebra 1 now that you have some really good foundational skills that you've worked on. You've worked really hard. Some of you have been really frustrated with some of this stuff this year, but you guys have really powered through. So I really appreciate that. And with that, the last assignment is just a feedback form for me as a teacher. It's you're going to get credit for filling it out thoughtfully. In order for me to make this better for next year, like, we don't know what next year's going to be. Like, we anticipate that part of it will be online, and I want to make sure that I provide my students with the best experience possible. So the only way I'm going to learn is from hearing from you guys. And some of you have shared a few things with me along the way, which has been helpful. At first I had this survey anonymous so that people could just write whatever, but I want to give you credit for doing it. So you are going to put your name on it, but I will be honest with you. At this point, I know your personalities pretty well, right? Like, you have some honest, critical feedback. Like, you still want to be respectful anytime you're giving someone feedback. But I want to hear your honest feedback. So I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, she's going to go change my grade because she knows I didn't do one POD during this online learning, right? That's not the case. At this point, I know you. I know your personality. I know you as a learner. I think I do, at least. So I want your honest feedback. All right. So please share your honest answers so that, I can make things better, not just for my class, but, I sit on all these different committees at school where we talk about a lot of this stuff, and your voices, I try to bring your voices to that table. Like this afternoon, I have a meeting with all these, the assistant principals and everybody. So as we try to put things together for next year, I want to bring your voices to the table. So for the last thing, I sent you a link in your email. Your link would have come at 10 a.m. So if you haven't checked your email since 10 a.m., it's this link here. I'll actually put it in the chat. Let me do that. And you can do it from there. I'd like everybody right now to get online and do it. I know some of you have, what do you have? Meetings for Mr. Howard. So if you have a meeting for Mr. Howard, you might want to do it later. No, that's not what I want. I want to go here. So if you have a meeting for Mr. Howard, please go to your meeting for Mr. Howard. Do not be late for that. But that once you complete
where's the link at, Miss Samick? I'm trying to find the link.
It's in the chat.
I just put it in the chat, and it's also, I had an email scheduled to come to you at 10 a.m. All right. So look for your email.
For Mr. Howard?
Oh, for Mr. Howard? I don't know. But who is Howard?
Mr. Howard sent an email with all the times and
yeah, but not where are the links?
They're in the email on the bottom.
Huh.
So with that, I just again want to say thank you to you guys, everyone on this chat, and then Poe and Jack and Henry and Matthew and Noah who aren't online today. I really enjoyed this group of guys. You guys are a really good group of guys. And oh, there's David and David. That was my missing guy. I had Owen written down twice. There you go. Hi, David. So it was just such a great year in terms of you guys as learners. I really enjoyed working with you guys. Please go ahead and fill this out, and then that's it. If anyone wants to stay online and fill out your survey later to do other things, feel free. Otherwise, you guys are free to go. thank you guys so much for a great year, a weird year. Caden, sorry we didn't get to our community meeting. We could stick around for the community meeting. Does anyone have any last thoughts they'd like to share with the class before we go? Any well wishes or final?
I'll see them in that chat.
I have one with Samick.
All right, Z.
So I think it was like this was before COVID-19 online school learning. So like every time when we went into class, and like 15 minutes into class, I asked to use the bathroom, but in reality, I went down to get a body armor, and we snuck it back into class. So I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. Thanks, Z.
Yeah, I remember that.
I might have to bring
Welcome.
back my old system of using a pass to leave the classroom. So that's good to know for those freshmen next year.
Yeah.
Thanks for your
I want to
honesty.
get them in trouble. You're welcome.
Yeah. Thanks, Amir. I hope you have a great summer too. I'm gonna send out some good summer stuff if anyone wants to stay engaged with their learning this summer. I know you all can't wait to do that, some extra learning this summer. Does anyone have any good, exciting things they're gonna do in this quarantine summer? I'm moving.
No.
My big excitement. So
Are you moving to
Again?
going to NASA?
Didn't you move in yet?
I moved last
Texas.
summer. Yes, Joe, you're right. So those of you who had me in summer school knew that I moved last summer, but now we are moving this summer into a house. It's still in Cleveland. It's over in Gordon Square.
Miss Samick, this is a very long fundamental student evaluation survey. Miss
I know.
Samick.
Yeah, I know. It's so long.
I know.
Quite
I want to know a lot of stuff.
okay.
David, we missed you in class today.
Yeah, David.
Why is this so long?
Because I need to know a lot of things.